Hey everybody, what's going on? Hermdo back with you. We got more recession talk. Let's get into it. This is from CNN. How the U.S. economy went from booming to a recession scare in only 20 days. Just 20 days ago, the U.S. stock market was sitting all-time highs. The U.S. economy appeared to be growing at a solid pace, and the recession was nowhere in sight. Now the R word is seemingly everywhere. Recession fears are rocking the stock market. GDP forecasts are getting slashed. President Donald Trump and his economic team are facing questions about a possible recession and failing to ease mounting jitters about the economy. U.S. stocks retreated again on Tuesday, failing to rebound on Monday's steep losses. The Dow dropped about 400 points, around 1%, and the Nasdaq dropped again after its worst day in 2.5 years. Selling accelerated after Trump announced plans to lob a 50% tariff on steel and aluminum imports from Canada and warned more tariffs could be on the way. It's stunning how fast the mood has flipped. Investors who just a few months ago wondered if the economy was perhaps too strong and now bracing for real troubles ahead. The reality is that the U.S. economy doesn't appear to be near an imminent recession. It was growing at a steady clip at the end of last year. First quarter isn't even over yet, and the job market was still in growth mode in January and February. It's way too early to say the economy is destined for a recession. A deep downturn typically marked by mass job loss, bankruptcies, and foreclosures. Previous recession scares were, with the benefit of hindsight, way overdone. We call the 2020 recession freak out that featured some flashing a 99% chance of a recession. So, I don't know, CNN seems a little bit skeptical of it. But yeah, we got this analysis here. This is from a couple days ago. This is from Monday. Dow falls by almost 900 points in market rout after Trump says he won't rule out a recession. Oh yeah, that was a big scare for some people. U.S. stocks plunged, Bitcoin tumbled, and Wall Street's fear gauge hit the highest level this year as concerns about President Donald Trump's economic policy lead to widespread market sell-off on Monday. The run on Wall Street started early with three major indexes opening sharply in the reds. U.S. stocks slid through the day, and despite a brief afternoon rally, closed in the red. Okay, it's up a little bit today. It was going down. Yeah, went down between yesterday and today. It was at 5,529. Now it's climbing back up. Past 5 days, it was down negative 3.54%. Now it's up 0.18% today. Let's check out the Nasdaq. So U.S. stocks bid for rebound, lost steam on Wednesday as signs of escalation of the U.S.-Canada trade war eclipsed a better than expected inflation reading. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was roughly 0.3% lower, in reversal, of course. Meanwhile, the S&P 500 gained about 0.4%, while the Nasdaq Composite rose about 1.2%. Stocks had opened higher in the first sign of reprieve with the S&P 500 closed Tuesday down nearly 10% from the most recent all-time high. A rebound in big tech led that rally, with Nvidia and Tesla blowing both up more than 6%. On Wednesday, the latest data from Bureau of Labor Statistics showed that core consumer price index, which strips out more volatile costs of food and gas, rose 3.1% in February, down from 3.3% seen the month prior. It marks the lowest yearly increase in core CPI since April 2021. Here's the S&P right here. I think that's real-time stats. Experts say Donald Trump holds the key to America's economic future. Here's what you should know. America's economic future depends on U.S. President Donald Trump's decisions, with inflation increasing and growth projections cut. Experts caution the U.S. economy might slow down or lead to a recession depending on Trump's trade policies, USA Today reported. Trump has imposed tariffs on imports from Canada, Mexico, and China, and stepped in economists argue would increase the price of common products and cause widespread business uncertainty, as per the report. Experts say the consequences of these tariff increases could hit American consumers hard by increasing prices, reducing household budgets, lowering the purchasing power of common Americans. So that's been a fear for a few months now. A lot of people knew that. Trump, that was the big thing. Part of his campaign was talking about these tariffs. We're going to tariff people. We're going to tariff Mexico and China and Canada. They're not paying enough. They've been screwing us over for a long time. Just that kind of shit. Tense week for Wall Street this week. The economic worry increased as Trump said he would increase the tariffs on Canada, steel, and aluminum imports to 50%, doubling from the current level. USA Today reported this sent the stock market falling, with key indexes plummeting. The Dow Jones nearly lost nearly 400 points by Tuesday morning, while the S&P dipped by 0.43%. So yeah, some growth projections. Goldman Sachs revised its forecast to 2025 economic growth last month and decreased the projection to 1.7% from 2.2%, USA Today reported. Goldman also trimmed its expectations on inflation this year, which is now at 3% at the year end, higher than the Fed's targeted 2%. According to a report, while JP Morgan Chase forecast is a 40% chance of slowdown, USA Today reported. JP Morgan economist sees 40% U.S. recession chances risks to exorbitant privilege. There's about a 40% chance U.S. recession this year and a risk of lasting damage to the country standing as an investment destination if the administration undermines trust in U.S. governments, according to JP Morgan's chief economist. See, Trump is that X factor. We don't know what this guy's going to do. How are these tariffs going to work out? What's happening? Because you don't know. With any other president in there, you'd probably be like, okay, we'd at least have some stability. But Trump is so volatile. You don't know what kind of policies he's going to pass. You don't know what's going to happen next. But anyways, he goes on to say, where we stand now is with heightened concern about the U.S. economy. Bruce Kasman, the U.S. Investment Bank's chief global economist, told reporters in Singapore on Wednesday. He said he's not revising any forecast, but a roughly 40% chance recession risk in the outlook, up from about 30% chance he'd reckoned with the start of the year. JP Morgan's current forecast is for 2% U.S. GDP growth this year. Now, some people say, I know CNN mentioned the 2022 recession fears. A lot of people were predicting it, but a lot of people say we're already in a recession, with inflation, the job market not being as good as people say it is, the yield curves, the GDP, all this kind of stuff. All these different indicators are being hit. I mentioned that in my last video about the recession I made about a week or two ago. But yeah, it's getting a little crazy. Let's see what people are talking about on Twitter. I just searched recession. Trump says recession, unfortunately, but necessary step to get out of depression. The recession really gonna fuck up my corporate girl boss to Pilates' wife pipeline. Recessions are now called detox. U.S. Treasury President, there's going to be a detox period for the economy. What the hell does that mean? Recession and lower inflation the same way dying lowers your blood pressure. Don't say recession ever, say Trump session every single time, pass it on. It all makes sense when you realize recession is actually a good thing for the 1%. Let's see what Fosh has to say about this.
The reason they want a recession is because when a recession happens, the economy plummets, a bunch of companies go bankrupt, and only the oligarchs have the money left over to buy up everything when it's being sold for a fraction of its actual worth. If the whole economy goes under, only a small group of people are wealthy enough, not only to be okay, but to start buying and accumulating. They take advantage of people's desperation by buying up all these properties that are being liquidated, so that when the economy rebounds, before maybe they own, let's just say 1% of the economy, but then when everything gets cheap, they have less money in an absolute sense, but everything else is dirt cheap. So they buy. And then when the economy goes back up, now they own 2% of the economy. Yeah, recessions are good for people who, have the hunger and who are, willing to buy. And they have the capital. Will this recession affect other countries or just the EU and America? It'll affect the entire world. The reason.
Okay. So I'll say what you will about Vosh. I think he's pretty right there. I mean, a lot of people are salivating, like rubbing their hands together at thought of all this cheap, properties, all these companies, all this stuff just like being available for pennies on the dollar. Oh boy. Okay. Millennials entering their 500th recession since 2008. Can't have a recession if you don't check the markets, if you understand this. Trump has just said he's not looking at the stock market. So, yeah, but we got some TikToks here I want to share with you guys. Let's go into this.
It doesn't mean a recession, but it does indicate that trouble may be coming. And the stock lost over 6.5%. This spooked investors yesterday. And you think about it, Walmart is considered a bellwether for the American
consumer. Oh yeah, Walgreens is taking a pounding. It's crazy.
Americans live within 10 miles of a Walmart. They focus on low prices. They sell need-to-have items. They are the nation's largest grocer. If Walmart says, quote, we are in an uncertain time, that is a potential red flag. And then you zoom out, you couple this with the retail sales numbers that we got for January. Biggest drop we've seen in 2 years. And then the data that we're getting on how consumers feel about inflation, they think inflation is going to be about 4% within a year. And so Walmart's outlook reflects that potential pullback in spending.
So this is forward, right? Because up until this point, Walmart sales have been strong because of the pandemic, because of the leverage that they have with manufacturers in providing low prices to their customers. They're saying that with the economic environment and what the president is suggesting with the trade war, that could be bad.
Exactly. And you know, what I really thought was interesting is they highlighted that a lot of their growth is coming from consumers that make above $100,000. That's
not their core customer.
That is
is it?
not their core customer. They said they're really tapping into a higher income customer. And in fact, in the third quarter of last year, 75% of the growth came from that group. That underscores that people of all income levels are looking for deals. They are struggling from that price pressure. But yes, it is potential pullback, inflation, and potential tariffs. It doesn't.
Interesting. All right, let's see this.
Financial markets today roiled by Donald Trump and the chaos he has unleashed on the American economy. The Dow is down more than 2%, around 900 points today after Trump.
Let's take a look at the Dow. Ooh, another 0.74. Oy vey. Let's take a look at the 5-day. Ooh, baby, just down. I am not liking that. Dow S&P, the losses as it struggles continue amid Trump's latest tariff threats. That's from yesterday at 4 p.m. Ooh, baby. Stocks bounced off their session lows late Tuesday, but still closed in the red after a day of whiplash for President Trump on tariffs. For now, the S&P 500 avoided correction territory, but still fell about 0.8% to trade at just under 5,600. The Dow Jones Industrial Average shed roughly 500 points, or 1.1%, dragged down by shares of Verizon. The tech-heavy NASDAQ Composite reversed gains in the last few minutes of trading to fall to about 0.2%. Ooh, Christ. Let's get into this a little bit more.
In an interview on Fox News, refused to rule out a recession. Watch those comments.
Are you expecting a recession this year?
I hate to predict things like that. There is a period of transition because what we're doing is very big. We're bringing wealth back to America. That's a big thing. And there are always periods of, it takes a little time. But I think it should be great for us. I think it should be great.
Should be great. Markets didn't think so, clearly disagreeing with that. Spooked by what Trump called there a, quote, period of transition. All major stock indices are now below the levels they were when Donald Trump was inaugurated. That may be one reason why in that Fox interview, Trump said this, quote, you can't really watch the stock market, end quote. A sudden about face from the kinds of things he said during his first term.
All right. So, yeah, Trump is giving a bunch of mixed signals here. This doesn't look good, but that's all I got for you guys for right now. A lot of these stocks are down. Tesla is up, oddly enough. I just did make a video about that, the last video I made. But yeah, things are looking a little grim right now. There's not really much of a bounce back. If they do bounce back a little bit, seem to be falling even further. It's not good, but I'm going to end it there. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to support the channel. Visit my Cash App link in the bottom right of the screen. And you know what? Have a good Wednesday. I'll talk to you guys later.
Ryan Little.